Tonight on Metro News. Efforts are underway to keep the Christchurch Marathon in the central city. What's got these teens living out of their backpacks? And after 6 years, the Cats are back. Kia ora, good evening. Welcome to your local news bulletin brought to you by the students of the New Zealand Broadcasting School.
City councillors are promising to do all they can to keep the Christchurch Marathon in the CBD. Escalating traffic management costs means starting and finishing in the square is becoming prohibitive. Joey Dwyer has been looking at the numbers and joins us now. Joey.
Well, it costs $90 for the privilege of lacing up your shoes and pounding the pavements for 42 kilometres. But that, along with sponsorship money, is not enough to stage the event. The reason? The last few years' costs have increased dramatically since the marathon made its comeback to the city. A bit of rain and an early start didn't stop over 4,000 competitors taking on this year's Christchurch Marathon. All geared up and ready for the challenge ahead. The event was forced out of the city after the earthquakes. Now, in its third year back in familiar territory, what some don't know is council traffic management costs have quadrupled.
We're looking at big money, and it's not sustainable long term. The council know that. All our supporters know it, the sponsors. There's been a huge investment going to this event since we moved to the city. A lot of costs to do it.
Managing traffic for an event this size isn't an easy job. But if costs can't be brought under control, there are suggestions that the course would have to be moved out of the city centre. The council's determined not to let this happen.
I think the starting point's got to be here. Iconic event going back to the Commonwealth Games. So, we don't want to move it.
Today marks the 37th year of the Christchurch Marathon. It's cold and wet, but one thing's for certain, competitors still love to finish in the heart of the city.
There's no better place to have it, really. It's such an awesome spot.
It's beautiful finishing here. It's a Christchurch Marathon, so we should be finishing here, definitely.
But that could take some effort.
And we'll keep working behind the scenes to see what can be done. We do want to see if we can get those costs down because it is really, really high, but it's just a hard thing to get around at the moment, but we need to keep it in the centre of the city. That's important.
With a race special to Cantabrians, it's clear they want to see it stay in the heart of the city for years to come. Well, it hasn't been smooth sailing for the marathon since the quakes. In the first year, it was traffic mayhem. Now, money's a problem. And while no one is prepared to say how much traffic management costs, we believe it's a six-figure sum. What we do know is they're looking for more entries and more funding because the main players want to keep it in the CBD.
Thanks, Joey.
Christchurch man Oliver Dowling is recovering from surgery after being repeatedly stabbed in the London terror attacks. The 32-year-old ex-Christ College student was stabbed in the face, neck and stomach, but his sister said on Facebook the attackers missed all vital organs. 7 victims are now dead and a further 48 are injured.
Did you know just one blood donation can save up to 3 lives? So why then do blood services continually need more donors? As a World Blood Donation Day approaches, Lauren Jones shows us just how easy it is.
World Blood Donation Day is just around the corner, and this year it's all about being the secret lifesaver.
So we do have a really good number of people that donate, but we're always out there trying to encourage new people to come along and give it a go.
So we're currently at the Christchurch Blood Donation Centre, and I'm about to show all you squeamish people out there how easy it is to save up to 3 lives. The process is simple. After some forms and a quick interview to check you qualify, you're all good to go.
We really encourage people to try and give blood if they can, but we have a number of rules, and you'll be able to find those on the website of the app.
And squeeze. And hold to squeeze. I'll let you know when I'm about to pop it in, okay?
Yep. And if you don't like needles, no need to fear. It's over faster than you think.
The nurses are very careful with you. They're really gentle. I look away. So, if you don't like needles, just don't look at it. And it's really quick.
A couple of squeezes of the stress ball and the process is underway. 147,000 New Zealanders donate blood each year, giving just under half a litre each. After about 5 minutes, it's time to relax. The blood bank's continually looking for new donors and others to help.
If you can't help us by giving blood, because some of the rules might mean that you can't, then we'd really love you to encourage your friends and family to give blood, and we always need people to volunteer to help with the refreshments as well.
So it really is that easy. A couple of pricks, a chalky biscuit, and you're out of there. If you want to donate blood in the future, head to nzblood.co.nz for locations and times. I'm Lauren Jones for Metro News.
It's going to take centuries for the Port Hills to recover after many hectares of trees and bush were lost in the February fires. 5% of the burned land belongs to the City Council and replanting there is now underway. Emily O'Connell reports.
Shovel by shovel, 80 volunteers helping re-establish Kennedy's bush.
You know, it's great to see everybody here today, to be honest, and get a good turnout.
I just really wanted to help out after the fires.
Roughly 1.5 hectares of bush was lost in the fires and the council's involved in replanting a small part of it.
We're planting here for the first planting of our 12 of the winter planting program series after the fire. So we've got 80 people for our first planting day, which is a fantastic turnout.
The trees are species that grow in the area.
We've got tortora, kawhai, lacebark, ribbonwood is the key tree species. Got 5-finger broadleaf, kohuhu, pittosporum, tarata, which is lemonwood.
And they've got a strategy to ensure they get a good start in life. Tree cages.
You don't need many hairs to cause a lot of damage, and they'll go around and nip the tops off all the plants, so it's just making sure that we protect every plant that we put in.
But as they plant a new generation of trees, the last is still very much on everyone's minds.
I actually live quite close as well, so it was a bit scary seeing all the smoke, and I guess it's hard to imagine the extent of it until you actually get up here. So it feels good to be able to do something to help out.
Oh, devastating really, because we could see it from over on the side of the city, but it just didn't know where it was going, and the poor people up here that got hit with it.
But this is only a small dig into a job that could take centuries.
Once we've reached canopy cover, and that's when the natural regeneration process will start to happen. So really it's 100 to 200 years.
And by then these hills should be back the way they were. Emily O'Connell, Metro News.
Strong city, stronger skaters. That's the drive behind the Ōtautahi roller derby team as Christchurch steps up. Rebecca Brebner checks out the action.
Described as rugby on wheels, this full contact game requires strength, tactics and a whole lot of energy.
Roller derby is all about getting together and having a lot of fun.
It seems Christchurch has some hardcore players on the roller derby scene, many of them competing in today's tournament.
So the triple beheader we haven't done for a very long time, since the earthquakes. So it's always been Christchurch, Nelson and Dunedin. So we play 2 short games where we see who the top 2 teams are, and they will go up in a final later on.
The road to the final will be no skate in the park, and when push comes to shove, the officials are known to step in.
And I'm the head ref for this tournament, so derby is a bit complicated. We actually have 7 refs on the track, so our job is to make sure things are safe and that the game is fair.
After a fierce fight, Christchurch make it through to the finals.
We're here at Pioneer Stadium where the Ōtautahi Rollers take on Nelson's Sirens of Smash in the grand final of the triple beheader.
As the MCs put it, the game was on like Donkey Kong, with both teams fighting until the very last second. Unfortunately, Nelson took the win.
They did amazing. We've been practicing having nice tight walls and sticking together and being really calm. And tonight we pulled it off, so couldn't be prouder.
So if you ever feel like toughing it out in the rink, the Ōtautahi Rollers welcome all.
Everyone should give it a go if they want to. It's just so much fun. You should come down and actually do a skate one day.
For the meantime, I think I'll stick to reporting. Rebecca Brebner, Metro News.
After the break on Metro News, we speak to an underwater hockey player making a splash, and a group of young people are inspired to be future leaders.
My name's Alistair Coburn. I'm the station producer for Classic FM. So we're in London. We've got 8 radio stations and 2 TV stations here. So I've been doing this job about 2 years. Got a phone call while I was in the middle of Europe saying you've got a job interview in London. Worked out quite well. London's the greatest city on earth, I think. There's so much to do here. It's just such a vibrant place. My first year in the UK, I think we saw about 10 different countries. 2 weeks ago we were in Wales, a week before that we were in Prague. It's really amazing. I mean, Classic FM, we've got 5.3 million listeners every week, so it's more than the entire New Zealand population. I'll be writing promos, writing trails, writing imaging, writing commercials as well. I got nominated for a Sony Radio Award for a promotional campaign which I worked on. The skills that I've got from my study, they really stand up. It taught me a lot about how the entire radio industry works, like from sales to production to on-air to writing. Once you're done, you've got the internship, you get straight into a job, and from there you're off. I mean, the world's your oyster basically.
Welcome back. Imagine spending a day as a refugee. Well, that's exactly what a group of young Cantabrians did as part of this year's World Vision 40-Hour Famine fundraiser. Lucy Thompson is covering the story and she joins us now. Lucy?
The theme this year is all about uniting a generation, children helping children. On its website, World Vision says there are hundreds of thousands of Syrian children with no homes, no schools and an uncertain future. To help teenagers here understand what that means, a local youth group got them to spend a day in someone else's shoes. For these teenagers, it's just a simulation, but for millions, this is the reality of being a refugee. It's meant to be as realistic as possible, losing not just their homes, but their identities.
Our family name is Mashu, this is my brother, and this is my dad. Our homes have been destroyed.
Learning what it's like to be a refugee.
These two terrorists came in and smashing plates.
And shooting fake guns with cap guns.
Yeah, and we had to leave very quickly.
And we had to find a safe place to take refuge.
And that's how we ended up here.
Yeah.
It's all part of this year's World Vision 40-Hour Famine fundraiser.
So the money for raised by us through this event and also throughout the 40-hour famine is going to the refugee crisis. So specifically it's for funding child-friendly spaces within the refugee camp.
Of the more than 4.8 million registered Syrian refugees, over half of them are children. Today, the Oxygen Youth Group in Christchurch is simulating the struggles, which are a reality for many.
We don't really know how they feel, and it was good understanding. It's good knowing that we're raising money for them over there, because sometimes we think we can't really do much, but even like a little bit of money might make a difference.
After 7 hours on the go, their journey continues. Finally, a safe place. Time to reflect on their experiences.
Well, I don't think I quite understand the sheer mass of what they've gone through, but we've got a little snippet of how they feel like, and I feel that it's it's hard.
While their journeys ended well, they know others in conflict zones aren't so lucky. So it's all tied to the 40-hour famine, which kicks off next weekend. All the money raised by New Zealanders will go towards helping the children of Syria. It'll be used to build play areas, educational spaces and provide trauma counselling. They also need to recruit staff such as teachers and social workers, and of course that all costs money.
Thanks, Lucy.
And those teens aren't the only ones keen to make a difference. Hundreds of children got more than a day off school while attending the National Young Leaders Day. Talia Mamila reports on how Canterbury kids are shaping up.
Lots of energy is what you can expect from a National Young Leaders Day. Children from over 120 primary schools gather for a day of inspiration, listening to Kiwi role models like former netballer Anna Galvin.
Well, I'm telling you that in the right environment, anything is possible.
1,500 children gathered in the Horncastle Arena to be empowered and inspired as they gear up to be the leaders of tomorrow. They call the day NYLD, with speakers saying it's vital to invest in future leaders.
NYLD, I believe, is so important for our young ones, just to hear messages of hope.
But I wish I knew some of this stuff when I was younger, and I never came to a day like NYLD days, and I think for me I kind of wish I did. I wish I knew this stuff earlier.
These kind of events are huge because they impact not only their hearts but their heads.
The rebuild's a big part of these children's lives, and it'll be a big part of their future.
They'll actually, through the different chapters of the rebuild, they will actually become a part of it as well.
Thank you.
And that is something that, that they're a future literally for the rebuild of our city.
For organisers, this is their last stop.
We love finishing in Christchurch. We did last year as well, and it's just such a great buzz.
The event ending on a high for everyone.
It's a great opportunity for us to learn how to become better leaders from these people that have done the same thing.
A day to motivate and inspire our future leaders. Talia Mamelo, Metro News.
At only 19 years of age, a Christchurch teen is making waves in the sport of underwater hockey. Ella Proud joins us in studio now with Phoebe Stallman, who's heading to the World Championships in Hobart next month. Ella.
Thanks, Emmy, and thank you, Phoebe, for joining us today. So underwater hockey is fairly uncommon. Can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, so unfortunately it's not a spectator sport. We play at the bottom of a 2-metre pool, flat on the bottom. There's 6-on-6 underwater refs who have things that make a noise to buzz when there's a call being made. Each player wears a snorkel, a mask, a stick about this big, and there's a puck. And it's a really physical sport because you're underwater, so a lot doesn't get seen, so it can get quite people bashing you and pulling your masks off, pulling at your fins. But yeah, it is definitely peculiar.
And how long are you expected to hold your breath for?
In a game, you're sprinting underwater a lot of the time, so you'd probably be holding your breath for a maximum of 2 minutes. But in training, we go up to 1 to 3 minutes of breath hold.
And can you tell me about qualifying for Worlds?
Yeah, so there are regional and national tournaments which you can play in high school and at your regional level, and you have to get selected from there. There's a selection of about 30 people, which gets cut down ultimately to 12 people.
And is this the first time you've been selected to represent New Zealand?
This is the second year I've represented New Zealand. This is the first year I've ever played at Worlds, but last year I went to the Trans-Tasman's tournament, which was just against Australia. But this year there are more teams coming along to Worlds.
And what is your goal for the championship?
Yeah, so ultimately the goal is to win gold. New Zealand used to hold gold in all age group categories, but they lost it at the last Worlds tournament. So ultimately win gold. Apart from that, have a good time, experience playing at such a high level. Yeah.
And how many countries are at the competition?
There's 10 countries altogether, and there's 8 in the under-23 group that I'll be playing in.
And who's your toughest competition?
The toughest competition will definitely be South Africa. They're hugely physical, really built women, and they've held the title for the past few years. So.
And how long have you been playing for?
So I first started underwater hockey in year 9 at high school just to try it out. It sounded weird, so I tried it out and played throughout high school, and then my first year playing for New Zealand was first year university.
And do many people in Christchurch play the sport?
Since the earthquakes, there's been a huge decline. It used to be quite big, but now in the South Island, underwater hockey is tiny compared to the North Island. There'd be hundreds in the North Island playing, but in the South Island, and Christchurch especially, we probably have about 15 of us and 3 of us in the New Zealand squad. So.
And what sort of training have you been doing to prepare for Worlds?
So in prep for Worlds, we have about 10 trainings a week on average, and there's a lot of gym work, strength work in the months leading up to it, and then right before we do heaps of pull work, breath hold training, sprinting, games, skills.
And how are you feeling for it? Are you excited?
Yeah, excited, nervous, keen to just get over there and get going with the tournament. Yeah,
cool.
To see what
Thank you so much, Phoebe, and all the best for Worlds. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ella. Coming up on Metro News, we'll tell you how the weather's looking for the week ahead, and record crowds turn out to see the country's top cats.
My name is Aaron Soma, from New Zealand originally. Now I'm working at the BBC in London, at BBC World as a producer. So I went to broadcasting school, studied there, and then got my internship at TVNZ. Decided London was calling, so came here, started working at BBC World, and I've been here for about 3 or 4 months now. Absolutely just fell in love with this place. I mean, it's incredible. It's like a dream for any journalist. And to know that what you're producing is going out to tens of millions of people every hour, people watching it around the globe. It's incredible. There's that saying, the city that never sleeps, and this is one of those, of course. It's a huge, huge place. Great different little pockets of the city. It's amazing, it's always buzzing. At the moment I'm working night shifts, so that's overnight. So I start at about 10 p.m. and finish at 7 a.m. You know, when I arrive, America is just going to sleep, but Asia is opening up, and then Europe starts to open up. So it feels like a bit of a dream actually to be working here. The course is great because it's very much in line with what the industry is doing, and that's really important because it gives you this kind of almost this worldly knowledge of what's actually happening. It can lead you to this big wide world. You can do whatever you want to do, put your mind to it, and get out there and see what's around.
Welcome back. Preened to perfection, kits of all shapes and sizes were out to impress the judges at the national show. And as I discovered, it's the first time it's been held in Christchurch since the quakes. Kits of every colour, shape.
This is called blueberry. Blueberry muffin.
With fur or no fur, all vying for top spot. It's the first time the National Cat Show's made it here in 13 years.
One of the things that we really did miss when the earthquake occurred was the annual show that year had to be cancelled, so it was quite a disappointment for all our exhibitors, but this year absolutely great. Here we are back in Christchurch again and enjoying it.
And with lines out the door, local cat lovers were getting their fix.
It's just a really good opportunity to see them, and they're just really cute.
Because they're so cute.
How about you?
Oh, I just love seeing the British short ears and the Scottish folds.
Organisers were stoked with the record crowd.
It is going really well so far. It's actually exceeded our expectations today. Yeah, we knew we'd get some people through, but this is great. It's amazing.
With over 200 cats entered from Auckland to Invercargill, long hair or short, they're put into categories for the international judges, who also consider looks and personality.
Around the world, the Devon Rex is known as the elf-looking cat.
But it takes a lot of grooming to get show ready.
It actually takes quite a bit of work to get an exotic done because they've got to be bathed. I often have my son on about bathing my pussy.
And the prize for the winners? Some cat food and the honour of being called Best Kitty in Show. But the greatest prize for cat lovers perhaps is having this event back in town. Emmy Mackay, Metro News.
Secondary school jazz bands have been playing in tune and getting the audience tapping their toes. They've been taking part in international jazz and blues festivals right here in Christchurch. Alistair Stokes checks out the up-and-coming talent.
The St Andrews College Jazz Band, just one of 6 high school groups taking part in this year's festival.
It's really great to have high school musicians in the festival. It's kind of like a nurturing place, and we bring out nice audiences. Maybe we expose people to high school jazz band music that they've never known existed.
The festival started small 22 years ago and has grown over time. For these students, it's a good chance to practice before their music competitions.
Kind of good to get out there and perform in front of everyone.
Yeah, it's a great experience for all the young ones. It's first time performing jazz, and we get to do it in front of our parents and more.
Following the Christchurch earthquakes, events such as these were shattered due to a lack of venues. However, this event is now in its 2nd year running, and the music is better than ever.
We had to become very resourceful about what venues we could use, or we created venues.
It's so beneficial, there's a call to run more events.
It's a really valuable event to give our students more opportunities to come out and perform and get stage time, and also it's a great chance for them to hear each other from different schools.
And as more venues are built, there'll be more opportunities.
As the city comes together again, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for our various festivals to expand and to reach bigger audiences, to create different interesting things that they haven't been able to because of the venue issue.
The young performers were well received. Ending on a good note. Alistair Stokes, Metro News.
Rebecca's here now with the weather. How's the week looking, Rebecca?
Well, Emmy, it's not looking too flash. The land of the long white cloud has truly lived up to its name today, with Wellington and Auckland experiencing the odd shower. Christchurch starting the day off with 5 degrees and climbing to a high of 10. It looks like a colder start to the day for the Garden City tomorrow, kicking it off with 5 degrees and expecting drizzle later on. Southwesterlies will die out in the evening with the high will be 10. Further south, and it's not looking much better. That overcast theme continues with cloud covering Timaru and Ashburton. Twizel will also have an unimpressive high of 6 degrees. Looking further north, Kaikoura, you'll be happy to hear that you are the warmest of the trio. However, a few drops of rain will be present in the morning. Hanmer and Oxford will be overcast with temperatures in Oxford just hitting double digits. Canterbury is set to have mostly cloudy days with chilly starts for the rest of the week. Take your pick, 11, 12 and 14 degrees. You may have to get that brolly out as the occasional showers are expected later in the week. That's all from me. Enjoy the last of your long weekend. Back to you, Emmy and George.
Thanks, Rebecca. And that's Metro News for tonight.
For those stories and more, head to our website, metronews.co.nz. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Join us again tomorrow night. I'm George Berry.
And I'm Emmy Mackay.
Ka kite anō.